Exception, Blacklisted Podcast.
All right, what is going on, guys? We are here with another outdoor podcast because it's actually really nice out in Georgia.
Nice. Can't wait till it's February and we're fucking dying of cold.
Yeah.
Not at all. That'll be the greatest time of year.
And the natural lighting is pretty sick out here. So,
Vitamin D.
just want to give a couple shout outs to some of our sponsors here, Training Box, where we're based out of in Roswell, Georgia. If you guys are looking for a place to train, they are great. Hit them up. They do personal training and they have group classes as well. Some of our athletes are coaches here too, so you can get coached by them in the group classes. Zero FG, great energy drink, zero fucks given. Great Group Tactical. They make some great customized weight vests that are sizable to you. Repair, Perform, Recover, and Hybrid Sport and Spine are both bodywork individuals inside of our network. They do great work. Hybrid Sport and Spine is a chiropractor. Repair, Perform, Recover, they're all PTs down there. So if you guys are in the Atlanta area and you need some help fixing your body, hit those guys up and they'll be able to help you out.
I confuse that too all the time. I always say hybrid sport and spine. But I have to remember, I comes before
hybrid spine and sport. Damn.
We've
Sorry,
done that
Pete.
every podcast.
Yeah, well, that's my autism.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I've fucked that up too, so don't feel bad. And that's not me calling you out. I promise. Sorry.
Oh, I should be called out for that.
Well, I'm wearing the shirt, so everyone, if they're watching it, they can.
Kyle and names don't go together.
Fair.
It's the dyslexia.
You need. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, cool. So today we're talking about beach brawl.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the main thing, right?
I guess.
Yeah. It was a pretty successful weekend from what I got to see. I didn't get to go. Beach brawl.
Wait, tell them about your stupid beard first,
Oh,
so people aren't distracted by that
He's
the whole
preparing for
podcast.
Christmas.
ho, ho, ho. People have said I look like Santa or Papa Smurf.
Yeah, but why is it yellow?
I lost a bet with one of my swimmers,
Okay.
Could you
and I'm
please-
paying up.
Please. What's that movie? Liar, Liar, Dyer. No, it's not Liar, Liar.
Big
with
Fat Liar.
Yeah, Big Fat Liar,
Yeah.
and dye yourself entirely blue.
Gosh.
For Halloween, he
Yeah.
could be Papa Smurf.
Papa Smurf. So
Anyway,
Okay, so you
continue.
I've
lost a
been
bet.
told- I lost a bet to one of my swimmers,
Okay.
and I'm just paying up.
Okay. All
Not
right.
the first time I've done this. I have a habit of looking like not so Slim Shady whenever I have the
Okay.
opportunity to.
Perfect. All right, so that's out of the way now. You can look at his stupid yellow
continue
beard.
on?
Yeah.
Professionalism?
Yeah.
Okay. Beach brawl. I didn't get to go, unfortunately. Next year, hopefully, I'll get to go and be a part of the community and the crew. But it looked quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
It seemed to be successful from the blacklisted standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So I'm sure everyone listening to this knows what beach brawl is, but just for my curiosity, since I've never been, like, what's the generic overview of beach brawl? Is it set up similar to, like, Fittest to the Coast? Do they have teams and individual stuff?
Yeah, I think it's been going. Well, it's definitely been going on longer than. I think they said this was their 13th year, or something like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so like 2011.
Did it
was-
used to be called the Bacon Beatdown?
No, that was a
That's
different one.
different?
That's
Okay.
the one in Dayton.
Okay.
Or wait, where's the 500?
Daytona.
Macon?
Daytona.
Oh,
Yeah, Daytona. What did I say? Dayton,
Dayton's in
Ohio.
Florida.
Dayton.
Or
Here we go.
Ohio.
Dyslexia.
Dayton's in Ohio.
There's the dyslexia.
Daytona.
Yeah, so I think they've been going on since like 2011. I'm pretty sure it's always been the Pensacola Beach Brawl.
Okay.
Bree said she was she used to compete there. This is Bree Wallen. She used to compete there for from 2015, 16, 17.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, so she's been there a long time. She just showed back up this year.
Has it gained significantly in popularity with all the ebbs and flows of CrossFit?
So from my understanding from people, this was my first time down there as well, but from
Okay.
my understanding is people said that it was bigger last year than it was this year. So
It makes sense.
yeah, so I don't know what the ebbs and flows throughout the years have looked like. I know there used to be their elite division always has some pretty high level athletes, like games level athletes. I know Travis Williams won one time.
So it's kind of like TFX then in that sense. Been around for a while. There's gonna be games athletes there every now and again because like back
Yeah.
in the like you were at TFX when I think
Probably in its heyday.
Chandler was there. It was
Yeah.
when I first moved here. No,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was the year before I moved here in
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah. That was probably TFX in its heyday.
2017.
I would say those two are somewhat comparable. I feel like TFX might be a little bit bigger.
Gotcha.
But maybe more so just because it's more sprawled out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know they changed the venue from the Travis County Expo Center to
Yeah. I would say they're probably pretty comparable. TFX, Pensacola, and Fittest of the Coast. I'd say Fittest of the Coast, TFX are kind of like same level competition, and then Pensacola is like size-wise right below that.
Gotcha. I think TFX is wonderfully run in the experiences that I've had there. I haven't been since 2020, but 2019. I don't remember. Anyway.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
That's fair. You've been around it a lot longer than I have in that sense. And
4 years is also a lot of time for competition.
Well, this
very
even
true.
dates back to 2017, so.
yeah, I remember that. That's the one I was there for, the
Yeah.
2017, because that's where
They said they were going to do the obstacle course and
Yeah.
set up 5 obstacles, and it went from a 5K to an 800-meter run.
yeah. You going?
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That did not set up RJ great for success.
Oh, is he in that division?
Yeah, he was in the pro division that year.
Oh, RJ, we competed
Well, wait,
against
no,
each
no.
other.
Well, then I guess maybe. No, it was the year after that because that was.
Oh, okay.
There was a year where they had to cancel the obstacle course.
Yeah, that was that year.
So they did it 2 years in a row.
Oh, wait, maybe it was the year before. I don't know. Whatever. We'll keep going.
Yeah. So, Beach Brawl, Pensacola, the structure similar to like what we did, the FOTSI and TFX.
I would say it's similar to Fittest Experience 2021 when they had 2 or 3 stages set up.
Okay.
Yep. And then they've kind of dropped it down to like 1 or 2 stages recently.
Okay.
And Fittest of the Coast has the split floor, so they only have 2 stages. So, and they had 4 stages at Pensacola.
Oh wow,
Yeah, there's 1 on the beach, and then there's 3 in the parking lot.
that's pretty cool actually.
It honestly it really was. The 3 in the parking lot are pretty close together too. So like, I was able to run around and just kind of see, like, go from the warm up area to all the stages.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that sounds like an easier flow than what FOTSI was.
What?
Fittest of the Coast last year.
Yeah,
Which
where you're
honestly,
like sprinting
Yeah.
from like, yeah.
So I'll include you in the conversation. Do you have any similar thoughts or different thoughts from that?
Well, we're talking about other. I thought we were supposed to be talking about beach brawl. We're talking
We are.
about TFX right
Well,
now.
we're talking about like the comparison, like how the structure is and whatnot to the others. So I've never been there, so this is more for like me to get a better understanding of like how beach brawl is operated.
I
how
mean,
it
so that was
operates.
my first time actually being at beach brawl.
Yeah,
I've
same.
seen it. I drove by it when they had it at the baseball field in 2020.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's why I was like thinking it was at a baseball field, and then I was like, no, it's at
It's at the
parking
beach.
lot.
What baseball field?
Whatever one that's right there.
But they also do teams. They also do a spring one. They do a fall one and a spring one.
Okay.
But I've never been to the spring one. I know nothing about the spring one. This is my first time at the fall one, so.
All right.
It's a lot going on, but it has to be a lot going on for them to get as many people as they are competing through it.
Yeah,
So
makes
then
sense.
when you look at it from that perspective, it is actually extremely well structured and
Yeah.
organized.
Yeah.
Okay.
They actually get ahead of schedule there, which is like honestly kind of a complaint that I have, because you have people that are sitting out there for 10 minutes as they're sitting there calling people, waiting for them to get to the, like, you'll have people show up like probably 5. So they also don't corral anybody. So they have the athletes just standing by the stage.
Which
and
is
then,
honestly cool, because you know what? Do whatever you need to do to warm up. And
Yeah.
if you're not there, that's on you.
Yeah.
Which I had to tell Bree. I was like, you guys are going. Get in there. She's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. So you show up to the stage early, like 5 to 10 minutes early, and then they stage you, and then because like you're kind of like paying attention, and you're like, oh, I know this heat's ahead of me, so you go to the stage, and then they stage you on the actual like floor, and then they're like calling out people to come to the stage to get in their lane, and so they do that for another like 5 to 10 minutes. So it's like
That's
you're like
frustrating.
sitting there for a while waiting for.
So critique is just start the event.
Yeah.
Start
Fair
the event.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing that I say is like the warm, like I personally I actually like it much more when you have it organized to like you get corralled and then you get brought out. I think it just that keeps it way more organized. So I would say like have somebody corralling people, and then the warm up areas. I like when competitions like separate everything as well. And this is more personal stuff, I guess. So it's not necessarily a critique, but the anyone can like just walk through the warm up area. Spectators are allowed in the warm up area,
Oh.
which isn't like that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Like I do think like it's extra money to give like coaches passes and stuff like that, obviously. So, but like the warm up area is right on all the stages. Like you don't get to like you don't get walked to the stage or like it's not hidden away from the stage.
Yeah, I mean, but I also like I think with the style of competition, the athletes that you have, right? You have elite, you have RX, you have intermediate, you have all of these people. Corralling that type of competition would do it a disservice because of those people.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it
know what I
does
mean?
feel like a lot more. It had way more of like a
It's a hangout vibe.
CrossFit, yeah, like CrossFit circa 2011, 12 feel to
Yeah.
it.
Got it.
Yeah,
So I like that. It looks like that's their identity. My concern with the warm up area is you don't have the equipment.
yeah,
They don't have any ergs.
Really?
yeah.
Zero.
You had to go run. It was like fittest experience
So
back
like
in 2017.
I'm gonna bring my rower and my C2 bike next year for everybody, and just
Man, not being able
throw
to
it
have
right out back and
Yeah.
warm up where our tent is set up.
Not having an erg is tough from a warm-up standpoint, but also from a cool-down standpoint.
Correct.
Yeah, well,
people struggle
yeah.
to cool down for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I'll be bringing an ice bath, but I want to have like the plug in and plug it into my truck and then keep it cool.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
That's what we'll do. But I mean, those are like that was the only like thing I really didn't like about the competition overall was just they didn't have the right equipment for warming up and cooling down. So which I mean I understand like I think I mean again I didn't see it, so they could have said this somewhere and I'm just the idiot. But is saying like, hey, we won't have this in the warm up area. We won't have this. Like, make sure that you're able to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Put that out in front. I don't know if they did or not. So
I feel like that would be something that was just like in the waiver potentially, but that's also something that should be in like a disclaimer on the.
well, everything's run through social media at this point, so just put
Yeah,
like on an
that's-
Instagram
that's
page,
true,
like, hey,
yeah.
this is what it is, or even they send out emails to everybody, like send it out into the email.
I actually I kind of like it when competitions don't have the ergs at them because it forces you to get pretty creative with your warm ups. But
True,
But
yeah.
you shouldn't have to get creative for a competition you're prepared for.
no. But like
Yeah.
it also like provides like a competitive advantage for people that are like actually seeking out the C2 bike at the C2 bike tent and going and doing the intervals on it. So like because I feel like we're a little bit more of like an intelligent competition organization. So when there's things that aren't just handed to people, we get a competitive advantage because we're like thinking about things ahead of time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean for sure in that perspective,
Burpee
but I
rope
think
climbs.
that's just for us, and it's a safety hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I
running
think
through the
I
parking
think
lot
not
and
definitely
stuff.
not having the dumbbells there was like that was for
Yeah.
sure. The ergs like
Yeah.
just go
Yeah.
run.
Just in general, like that was my specific point, but in general, like they don't have enough of what you actually need to warm up. Like again, there's no sandbag. Which
There was
you
one set of rings for ring muscle
No
ups. like,
fucking way.
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
So like
man.
I just yeah, from a safety standpoint, you need to have people warmed up for the event that they're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a competitive advantage, but I think because of the amount of people you have, the type of athletes you have, they're not as creative, and you can't force people that aren't taking this as seriously to be like, hey, get
That's fair.
creative. Because people are like, oh, well, I'll just, whatever. I'll just like my normal gym. I go in and I don't warm up.
Yeah.
And now you're going to go 100 miles an hour.
They had dumbbell DT there, and somebody came up to John and was like, "Man, they don't have dumbbells back here." I'm like, "Go over to the barbell, perform one round of DT with the barbell, and you'll be good to go."
Right. That's right. My
Yeah.
perfect example, right?
True, yeah.
So like that was one. There's probably 300 people
Yeah,
that were
yeah.
doing that.
Oh my god, that reminds me of like most of the swimmers that I coach. I don't know what to do. it's okay to use common sense every now and then.
It's just, yeah.
It's fun. It is allowed.
Panic.
Yeah.
But also, I guess the overview for like a viewership standpoint, there's four stages. They're all going on at the same time. You have like a big one with a rig, then you have the small one for like the lifting stage, and then you had another one that was like the bike erg sandbag clean workout, and then you had a beach workout, which was cool. That one was pretty cool. But you have four different like revolving stages, and people obviously have to know like what their heat times are, and stay on top of it.
They actually did a really good job of putting that information out there.
Yeah,
the heat times.
that's good.
Yeah.
Like John grabbed everybody's heat time like I think it was like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks in advance
Dude,
for
what a
everybody.
badass.
Yeah. So like that is actually out there and given to the athletes well ahead of time.
That's
so
good. That's good. That's that part is probably the most critical. After like, you make sure you have all the appropriate shit set up, right? And you make sure you have like judges available.
Yeah.
And shit. But, having
Oh, that was actually another nice thing was that there was no they weren't scrambling for judges. So like I heard a competition
nice.
I heard a competition in August was like literally pulling people from the crowd to
that
go and
sucks.
judge. So
Well, was August like after the games, August, or August before the games, August?
Wadapalooza did that.
shortly after. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a drunk lady as our judge. And
Sweet.
She, and she forgot an
Yes.
entire round.
Sweet.
and not in our favor. Like, didn't
Oh.
count the entire round.
Oh.
And we
Oh shit!
And,
Damn.
And well, I won't name who it was, but our one of our teammates absolutely lost their mind, and fucking exploded.
I mean, justifiably in that setting. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
well,
Like,
we ended up taking second that year. That was the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I thought we were gonna get thrown out, but they literally, legitimately pulled her from the stands. She was drunk, and she's like, "I wasn't planning on judging this week, and that's why I've been drinking all day." I'm like, "Oh shit! How do you skip an entire round of 20 bar muscle ups?"
I've been thinking, and thinking got me drinking.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, it sounds like in that regard, it was a pretty positive thing overall with how it was structured. There was
yeah, I mean
a
somebody
good flow overall. I mean,
so-
there's always gonna be negatives.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And like the positives way outweighed the negatives
That's
this
good.
weekend. And like I can't remember who it was, but they're like, our theme for next year is we'll get T-shirts that say "Beach Brawl, here for the vibe" or "Here for the vibes" or something like that.
The Atlanta vibes. Shout out.
Oh yeah, John's team.
Yeah, the volleyball team.
Oh, you really didn't know?
It took me a second.
Okay.
That's awesome. So that's a good segue into like, that's a community statement, in my opinion.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
What you said. So like, I was thinking about the questions that I sent out, and I want to focus predominantly on the last one, the community aspect of it all. But before going into that, like obviously, all the athletes with Blacklist had a great competition. Amanda took the podium in the elite division, right? And then everyone else finished very high up. Yay!
Yeah. I mean, we had a little bit of a mixed bag, I would say.
Right.
The ladies this weekend did really, really, really well. We had obviously like Amanda won. Their team placed second in the RX female.
Hell yeah!
Maddie and Brooks' team finished in third place in the co-ed team. Bree Siegert won RX. Technically, Sydney finished in third place, but we don't need to get into that.
Why not?
And then, okay, so you definitely forget things as time goes on, but I remember that an individual that finished in third place did not, from my vantage point, complete a single chest-to-bar rep.
Oh no, one of those.
So, but again, that is from my vantage point. So maybe the judge was seeing something different.
It's like arguing balls and strikes, right?
Yeah.
Can't do
So,
it. It sucks.
I would say in general all weekend, a lot of things were given.
yeah. Which
That
is
seems
like,
to be a common thing, though.
but it's
with
like
CrossFit competitions
it's a local
sometimes.
competition, and I told somebody else that about the individual not getting their chest bar, and they're like, "Why didn't you dispute it?" I'm like, "Look, it comes back both ways. Like
Yeah.
she gets that, she gets something else that doesn't go their way, or we get something that goes goes our
Yeah,
way, you
right.
know? So like it at the end of the weekend, that shit evens itself out eventually. And like ultimately, Sydney could have been on the podium with a better performance
Yep.
and better execution in the sandbag and bike workout. So like technically, yes, she was in third. Technically she was in third place, but she could have earned third place doing a little bit better on the bike and sandbag workout.
So it's like that old adage or old saying of like it's never one call
Yeah.
that determines a football, basketball, baseball game.
Right.
That is fair.
So, but yeah, so Bree won. Sydney placed fourth. Liana was sixth, I believe, and then Emma was in ninth. So we had
Yeah, I
four
saw
ladies,
the screenshot of the top 10.
four ladies inside of the top
That is
10 in
incredible.
RX division. And
That's
then
that's incredible. That's depth.
Caroline was in 11th. She was very close to
Hell
breaking
yeah.
into the top 10 too. And so those were all four
So,
ladies that we
all right,
had competing
Run
in
it
RX.
down again. Bree won.
Bree won the RX. Sydney was in fourth. Liana was in sixth. Emma's in ninth, and then Caroline was in like tied for 11th or something like
And
that.
Amanda won.
That's
And Amanda
four
won.
in the top 10 of RX and an elite win.
Yeah. Yep.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, it was a pretty good weekend.
Given that beach balls, I mean, I'm assuming there were a lot of people there.
Well, Amanda beat out 5 semifinal athletes to win.
I should
So,
tell you something about semifinals for a quarterfinal programming. Go on.
well,
We
if
won't-
we're gonna get into
No,
that,
we won't. We're not going to.
well, I don't know if we have or not, but that burpee wall ball workout was the most cheated workout
yeah,
in
well,
the history of
100%. But
CrossFit.
we can revisit that when we compare quarterfinals workouts this upcoming year to last year.
Fair.
I think a lot of people only did 40 burpees.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
Go on.
yeah.
This badass depth. So, with that amount of depth, oh, I'm sorry. Continue on to the teams as well.
Oh yeah. So
Please.
Brooke and Maddie, they obviously finished in third place. Kyle Bernier, Logan Jenkins were their partner, and then team of 4, elite female. They finished in second place.
Hell yeah.
And they had Gina and Hannah from Arizona.
Okay.
And then Nicole. Obviously, Nicole Corey was on the team with Amanda. So,
Fuck
yeah. It was a.
Arkansas?
What did I say?
Arizona.
Arkansah. Yeah.
I didn't know if I didn't know
Man.
if Hannah was from Arizona, but I know Gina's from. They own a
Dude,
gym
this
in Little Rock,
This is
Arkansas.
bad today.
I mean, honestly, I honestly think both of you are just suffering from a little bit of a lot's happening, and you had to go down. You had to put pause on life outside of beach brawl.
Gina back squatted 315 for 3 easily because her back squat is way higher than that.
It looked like
That's awesome.
a 50,
Well, she-
60%.
Yeah, right.
So what I'm hearing is
Well, she's had a back injury and they're like nursing it back. So,
Yeah.
but it looked dumb. It looked really dumb.
so what Danny Jackson is hearing is need to have an LOI prepared
What? Oh, for
for the
Gina?
wild.
Oh, well, you want a crazy ass strong man? You get Greg. Greg's
Yeah, Greg
280.
Greg Troy?
Hartwick.
Hartwick.
I know, I was joking.
Those
I
two
don't know.
are
He might be 265 to 280 of just
yoked.
eat.
So yeah, I get it. That
Like 6'5", right?
He's not that tall, but yeah.
so it looks like
I mean,
me.
he's a big guy.
Nice. He must
Yeah,
be a
yeah.
good-looking guy.
Yeah, he deadlifts like 800 pounds.
Oh my Christ. a lot.
Yeah. He can do like ring muscle ups and all the other. He can do all the stuff.
So he's not a 300-pound man that was able to do ring muscle ups. Is what I hear.
Yeah, you
He's
can
not
still
300
pat
pounds.
yourself on the back for that one.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that
yeah.
on Instagram. We're gonna move on. So the dudes, I didn't hear anything about the blacklisted dude.
Well,
Honestly-
Pat wasn't planning on.
Yeah.
And then Friday night, I get down there. He's like, "Yeah, so I'm competing tomorrow, and I'm doing team." And I'm like, "What?"
what happened? I mean, now that's a bad thing.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
Obviously, he's gonna perform well, which it seemed like he did.
So right. So we have been we're working on getting stronger in general. That's just what he really wants to focus on right now, which is fine. So we still have some CrossFit stuff going on, but it's not the focus. And obviously, if you are paying attention to him, his numbers are just
They're going
skyrocketing,
stupid high.
right? Which is what we're working on. And we're working on
I'm kidding. That is a joke.
I mean,
Sorry.
he doesn't really care, but.
No, everyone else. I don't. Yeah, for the
But
company.
we're still keeping his gymnastics capacities high and things like that. But like his aerobic capacity is down, his metabolic conditioning is down, which is again that something has to give when you're trying to get stronger. So with all that said, he went in Friday, didn't eat shit.
No.
Didn't eat before he competed Saturday. And the first event, I literally saw him after the first round, and I'm like, he didn't eat food.
Did he go like pasty, translucent?
Well, he's just.
white?
I could just see the biker because they did the biker sandbag workout, and I could see their paces.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, yeah, this is a. He didn't eat. He has nothing. But after that, he did better. He did pretty well at the lift event.
I saw that.
We talked about it, and he hit 315. He had time to go for one more. I told him, I was like, 5 pounds in this complex is big. It'll give you one more spot. If you do hit I told him, I was like, you're not going to beat Riley Good. He's going to win the event. So you're playing for 3rd or 2nd place, and he wanted to go for 325. He did have it. He just needs to work on bringing the bar into his hip instead of fumbling on his thighs. But it's just a little technique thing to work on.
Could they be because of his levers, his arm levers?
No, you can play with it. You literally, everybody, like, I don't like that excuse. It does change angles and how you pull and move, but it's not by that much of a degree, maybe 5 degrees of change. But it's just something you can play with. Anyway, he ended up taking 3rd on that event, which is good. He improved from last year, and especially on a squatting complex.
That's really good for him.
Right? Like, it's not just one pull or whatever. He's do better, but a big major squatting complex, that's pretty good for him. And
really impressive.
He did what he has the capacity to do, given his time frame, and then he did well in the team stuff too.
He's a team athlete through and through.
He likes individual stuff better though.
Really?
But he is a team athlete.
Yeah, his physiology is a team athlete for sure.
Is. But I think he likes individual, or he says he does right now. I don't know. That might change when we get him into real competitive shape.
That's fair. I mean, I guess it can be more enjoyable to do individually, and you don't have to.
I mean, we also
rely on others. I suppose.
We also really are more confirmed that Tristan right now is much more of a team athlete than an individual athlete.
Is Tristan still alive after being shot?
Yeah.
The jury's out on that one.
I did receive a text message from him, so yes.
Okay, that's good.
He is alive.
That video was so funny.
We didn't get as many interactions on that as I thought we were. Maybe we'll throw it up as a reel and see if it does any better.
He has, like, that's the first time I've been able to be in person to see what he can do, and he has a lot of mental preparation things that he has to really work on the individual side. And we'll play with that and figure that out, but he just has so much to learn on how to compete. He has the fitness, but doesn't know how to execute that fitness.
Interesting.
But on the team side, he does a lot better. This pressure's off him, and he just can work a little bit harder for the team. However, he also didn't eat.
Well,
then until I forced.
This is
down
one of the things that frustrates me the most is hearing, "I couldn't eat." No,
what do you mean couldn't?
you can. You're gonna have to force feed yourself, but you can fucking eat.
So yes and no. So there's a way to eat. There is. So I have that same issue. I physically.
It'll make you sick.
I will. No, I throw up.
Yeah.
Like, I will throw up. I literally at semifinals.
Yeah, I remember you telling me this story.
At the Syndicate, was walking down the street because I need to walk to, like, get my nerves to calm down. There's nothing, like, I'm not thinking about it. It has nothing to do with that. It is a natural thing from sports. It's like I'm prepared to go to fucking war, and your body doesn't want anything inside of it. Well, force feeding yourself, especially me, I will vomit, and I did outside right in front of a church into a grate, and everyone thought I was possessed. So that was sick. But I did vomit, and then I was able to get more down after I was done, but I wasted everything that I already had. So I tell people either go fucking eat and throw up, then eat again, or smoothies, because it's real food. It's just blended up. You just don't have to chew it. It's the chewing that messes with me. Drinking Gatorade, and then it's once I get through the first event, then I can eat. But I have to get through the first one.
The first event's always the most nerve-wracking for sure.
So most of my stuff is fluid to start the day, and then I can eat right when I'm done.
I guess that's one thing. Like, you could, I mean, it's not food, but you could essentially just for something, like, substitute Gatorade just for
carbs. Like,
carbs
are the go-to in the weekend. And like, when I say eat, doesn't necessarily mean eating solid food. Like, do you need protein and fat? Yes, but not as much as you need carbs throughout the weekend. And simple sugars are carbs. So literally just chug a Gatorade, drink a Pedialyte, shove applesauce down. Like, you need to put in at least like 500 to 600 calories in your body before you go out into that
Dry
competition
scoop
floor.
Vitargo.
You were the only one that found that funny.
Yep,
Okay.
I was.
Mastication is what makes me want to vomit.
Oh God.
For all of you don't know, that's a difference between masturbation. It's not the same. Yeah, I just can't chew. I can't chew things until after the first event.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
interesting.
But
I think the girls maybe it's just because they have like a little bit more neuroticism about what they eat. Usually, they're a little
Fair.
bit better about actually eating at competitions because they've gone through the process of like learning about sports nutrition now, if that makes sense. Where guys,
yeah.
I think, are a little bit. And I was actually talking to somebody about this. Like, it's interesting because when we're finding right now that it's easier to find girls than it is guys. But when I was competing, I think when you were competing too, Griffin, it was the exact opposite.
Yeah, I noticed that trend.
And honestly, back in the day, guys seemed more coachable than ladies did. And now it's like ladies were like a little bit more hesitant to get a coach. And guys were a little bit more apt to get a coach, and it has literally reversed. Girls are way more apt to get a coach, and even more so than guys were previously. And now guys are way more hesitant to get a coach. And
I have a theory on that, and I will save it for another podcast episode.
I mean, no, just I don't know.
No, it's not. It didn't fall in the realm of
Oh,
the
okay.
community aspect of
Okay,
blacklisted at the competition. But I do think that that's something cool because, I feel the blacklisted community does an extremely good job of pushing each other. Doesn't matter, guy, girl, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what we've tried to build the community around. Is everybody builds each other up, and we're not necessarily looking like. I think a lot of these other places like look to promote and build their top athletes. But if you look at any genuinely successful organization outside of the fitness industry, because the fitness industry is still young in regards to how it does everything, especially CrossFit.
It's ever changing as well.
Yeah, like they push they look for everybody to have success, and that's any sports team. Like, they're looking to make sure that their quote unquote lowest player is having success, and that drives everybody up that ladder success.
That right there specifically reminds me of the movie Moneyball.
Yeah, right.
Like the Oakland A's, the whole story. It's not the elite side or the promoting elite side. It was just they get on base. Well,
it's data.
Yeah, it's data, right? So so out of curiosity, still focusing on the community aspect, how did you guys see what we advocate for and what we see on Saturdays here? Did you guys see a replication of that down at Beach Brawl? And if so, how?
Yeah, 100%. I think
to generate the success of what happens.
Yeah. So like, obviously Amanda killed it this weekend, and she did really well. Going there and doing what she did was extremely impressive. But I think what exemplifies most what we're trying to build here is actually the RX division, in the fact that we had 4 ladies inside of the top 10. And like all of them were pushing each other to get better each workout, and they were celebrating their successes in regards to like Emma. Unfortunately, they weren't all in the same heat. They were in multiple different heats, but like, everybody was happy that Emma got a couple ring muscle ups in that workout, beat her testing time. Everybody was super stoked that Bree won the competition. Everybody was super pumped with how well Sydney was doing, especially on Sydney's last workout. Like, she fucking sent her soul to hell on that workout, which it was the hardest I've ever seen her push. But
I can picture it.
Yeah.
I think like the cultivation of our environment and our athletes took a big step forward, because like she was able to push harder, and I think that's also has a correlation from because we have more of a comfortability of our environment now. It allows you to like relax a little bit more and push harder, even if it's not like as an individual. You can't always just go out there for yourself. You're going out there also for the team that's around you.
Right.
There was a massive team there around everyone.
You guys were all under the tent, right?
we had multiple tents down there,
4
but
tents or something.
one of the
Oh,
notes
shit,
that
really?
I wrote down is like everybody that showed up consistently on Saturdays and consistently, like I'm
Yeah.
talking every Saturday, had a great performance down there because we're teaching people how to compete healthily. It's not people aren't going there to compete vindictively. They're going there to compete healthy.
Not trying to
And-
knock each other's spot off the
exactly
whatever, right?
Right.
I
And
want to
s-
get third.
Yes.
No, I want to get
and
third.
so to Griffin's point, we've taught people how to have a little bit more of a safe environment, which allows
Love it.
them to compete freely and be okay with where they're going to end up on the leaderboard, and just go out there and put forth a performance.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me you can still want people within your community and overall to be successful while still being competitive?
Yes.
I don't get it. Sorry, that just irritates the shit out of me whenever people are like, I want you to fail so I do better. Fuck you. Go join another organization. You know what I'm talking about. We're just fuck it off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and like ultimately, I think that like you in any career, doesn't matter if it's fitness or what, you need wins, small wins, daily wins, weekly,
yep.
monthly,
Well said.
6 months, years, whatever. And once you get those little ones, you start rolling, and your confidence builds, and you just. It's almost like what people consider luck, right? When that starts to build, there's a legitimate snowball effect. And if you were to take two athletes and they were the same exact, I mean, it's the same as nurture, right? Like nature versus nurture. You take two exact same athletes, same talent, or even one might be better, but you put that person in where they don't take wins. You put the other person where they get wins. That person that's getting wins is going to continue to grow at an exponential rate.
And you'll grow yourself, right?
Yeah, right. So because
incredible.
it allows that opportunity to believe in yourself a lot more often, and I think like this is a perfect example of like that was a good one for our business and our culture that we continue to grow. As like Pensacola Beach Brawl is not a massive competition, but there's a ton of people, and it is a competitive competition that's really going to push forward everyone there. Like Leanna, like. When did you start with her? 2 months ago?
God.
3 months ago?
Shortly after
Yeah.
quarterfinals, I think it was in May timeframe.
Okay.
So
Yeah. It wasn't that
We're
long.
we're almost at 4.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
The growth, not just, physically obvious. It's very obvious. The mentality behind where she started
That's
from
it,
to be
yeah.
able to believe in like what she could do. Like after every event, she come back, wow, like I did so well at this, and this, and I'm like, yeah, because you,
Yeah,
you
'cause
can
you
do
can
it.
do
You
it.
just have to
And
believe it.
I feel bad
Give
with
me
the
goosebumps. Honestly, that really did. That legit.
Yeah.
I know exactly. I noticed that the last Saturday we had a session prior to going to Beach Brawl. I noticed that with her. So it's awesome to hear that carry
yeah,
forward.
yeah.
It's a really fucking big deal.
I feel bad because I ride her pretty hard,
Gross.
but I push her pretty hard. But that's because I see like more capacity in her. Like
you see potential, and
Yeah.
you see how like for her to pull potential out of her. That's
have
how
to push her,
That's
yeah.
how you coach her.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to coach her.
Yeah.
To pull her out of herself.
Yeah.
To go and
Yep.
push further. And
like
further.
even
I like that.
she was super happy about the ring muscle up workout, which was her first workout. But one of the first things I went up to her and I said to her was like, you have to move faster, and then she did that the rest of the weekend. So it's like because
That's so cool.
she like to your guys' point, like I told her that and she believes what I tell her, and so she goes out and does it, and then she's like surprises herself again.
That is all right. That is the most amazing part of like this. Can I say our community?
Yeah.
Is that
Why
okay?
would you not say our
because I
community?
don't coach like to what you guys do.
What the hell, Dan? You're a part of this
I
community.
know I'm a part of it, but I mean I could just coach like
You're,
this.
you're-
Okay, fair enough.
You're the crazy Santa of our community.
Ho ho ho, motherfucker.
What are you gonna say?
Fucking Santa Claus. The whole aspect, like every single person here, even if they didn't start out being this way, is coachable.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, and they can have more knowledge than we could in some facet of what they're doing, and they're like technically or nutritionally or in her case CDC-ly. But like Leanna, I saw what you're talking about at the beginning, like a lot of doubting, a lot of questioning herself, and then she tapped into that coachability realm, and that I feel was like our circle just being like, come here. We turned into the blob and
Absorb her.
absorbed her.
Yeah.
Like that, with the coachability aspect at a competition like Beach Brawl, the blacklisted community was all like rooting each other on. Everyone wanted success for each other.
Mm-hmm.
When you two and Pat like weren't able to do a coaching piece, I feel the community is able to coach each other as well.
At minimum, they're able to support each other.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So I want to ride that a little bit and discuss it, like how you saw it down there, if you did. Because like I'm assuming with having 4 stations, not all 3 of you could.
Yeah.
We split up.
100%
We
everything.
just split up.
Yeah.
We just split up.
But I mean, the community was still able to be there with you in case, like, hey,
It's the post.
Did I miss something?
It's the post workout conversations that they have with each
Yeah.
other.
yeah,
Which I didn't see it because I was just straight up on the competition floor the whole time. So I don't know if you were back in the tent seeing it at all.
I got
or-
to see some of it.
Okay.
Because I would try to drop in post, like, so there was, I would switch which heat out of all of your athletes that you coach that I would miss
Okay.
to go and sit and listen and talk with them and kind of
Okay.
like
Yeah.
debrief them
Yeah.
with anyone that wanted to talk about stuff. But they had their own conversations between each other on things like they like did well, they could have done better, and it helps progress them as athletes, but on the sense of strategy side, but also comfortability with your competitors in the gym when you come back and start training again, which will then continue, which cultivates this, hey, let's like, we don't always have to, the goal is not always for us to have to tell them what they need to do each workout. They should be able to at some point come up with it in their brain,
course.
and then they can ask for just confirmation,
yeah.
right? But then that can become between themselves. And then some people, like, look, not every athlete is the same type of athlete, so they're going to have different types of strategies. And then they can play off, well, that maybe that might work better for me, like, test this out. So it's going to keep growing that way to where they become intelligent, competitive athletes.
Like that. That's. I feel it trending that way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Since I've known you since you started Blacklist. I've never known like the behind the scenes of it all until the past year and a half. But it's definitely been a great uptick of what he just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the blacklisted athletes that were outside of like our local community, or even like those who,
I'm trying to think. It honestly wasn't a lot of them.
well,
We
a lot
didn't-
of them, but it was something like were they. I'm assuming that our community, the blacklisted community, the blacklisted community, made them feel right at home, and they couldn't even tell.
Oh yeah, I mean Gina and Greg had a great time. Hannah had a
Yeah.
great time. Yeah, I mean Bree and the Identity crew were all hanging out with us. Like we had tents we had 5 tents set up on the team day, and everybody was just
The
underneath.
tents were right next to each other.
All of them were right
Oh,
next
fuck
to each
yeah.
other. Yeah,
That's
so
what's up.
And
Yeah.
no one was like sitting in like one chair and like not talking to like somebody in the other tent. Like they
Yeah.
all kept changing. And
That's awesome. Because I remember at Finish of the Coast, like we were all predominantly together, but there were a few that were
pocketed elsewhere.
yeah. Which that didn't really bother me too much at the time because it was difficult to all
Well,
be together.
we'll grow into this next one for this
Yeah.
Fittest of the Coast. Basically, from that, we're gonna add more athletes going to Fittest of the Coast than I think Beach Brawl this time.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And I think we've got a few that aren't even necessarily really in our community that are kind of in and out that are going to be a part of it too. So it's our next chance at taking another step forward with our cultivating of our environment.
Yeah.
So how many blacklisted athletes were signed up
For Fittest of the Coast or for?
No, for Beach
I
Brawl?
think we had 16 to 20. I'm not sure.
Somewhere in there.
Yes, I'm not sure the
It's a
exact
good amount,
roster.
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We had Fish to the Coast. We had a good amount too that were directly affiliated, and then some indirectly affiliated.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that still hung with us. Which I am curious about that. Like at Fittest of the Coast, we had the blacklisted community, and then some quote unquote outsiders that weren't a part of blacklisted be a part of us, and then sign up for a little while, and then have to stop. Did that happen? Not the sign up part yet, but like the from the community aspect, were there others that weren't even affiliated, or even on a team or whatever, that just hung out with us?
Yeah.
Couple, actually.
Yeah.
Couple,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Who?
Well, like Gina and Greg are not. And
Right.
then
Oh,
obviously-
they're not.
no,
Okay, my fault.
No.
I thought they were.
no, they're not.
No.
Okay.
And then obviously like technically, like Brandon and Lawson aren't,
Mm-hmm.
and Ariel is not as well. She's a brood athlete. Ashley Cope, she's a brood athlete, came and was hanging out with us too.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just athletes that came and popped in and were hanging out and just being a part of, like, because their community's not there,
Yeah.
right?
That's tough to do a competition without your community there.
Did it for years.
Yeah, you did. You did too, right? Or did you always have a community with
Well, he
you?
was mostly
I don't
on
know,
his,
I can
like, a
I can
team.
figure it out on my.
That's fair.
I don't
Yeah, that's
necessarily
fair.
need that.
I think
but
you don't. No, you don't. But however, you will do better with it.
obviously competed on teams,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but like when I think when I went to Fittest Coast that one year, I don't.
You just ride solo.
Yeah.
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 I don't mind it because I have less to like worry. I don't have to worry about other people. But when people are there to actually help you and take care of those small little things that you need help with, I don't need a ton of. I don't need like emotional support. I need people to help me like go out and tell me like, hey, this is the time they did. This is the strategy, or like I get done and
here's
someone.
a Pedialyte.
Yeah, here's a applesauce packet. Thanks, perfect. I don't have to go get it because my arms are broken.
Yeah.
Right. Like so, like those little things make a big difference.
So
Yeah.
did our community do that for each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking believe it, man. That's so cool. Tell me that's not an outlier attribute for fitness organizations.
It's a team.
For organizations, yes, but I think for small like gym populations, no.
Yeah.
And
of
I think
course that like small gym populations, yes. But I'm going to like I know that we're small. I know Black Business is small.
What you're saying is so to like cut that part of the chase you're trying to get to is in the competitive environment of groups that doesn't happen as much. It would happen as like if you were CrossFit 404 all went together, they would do it for each other. Well, our competitive environment is its own CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have a normal community of competitors that act like if they just are there to hang out, right?
It's a legit family type of deal.
Yeah.
So they take care of each other. In the sense of like extremely competitive, you're not going to see a Tia Toomey walk over and hand Brooke Wells.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna go do. She's gonna go do what she needs to go do to recover. Not that it's wrong. Like you just.
Yeah.
That's not happening as often. So
Yeah, that's you hit the point.
yeah. I know how you speak, Dan.
You're right. You can translate my Danerisms.
Yeah.
There's another piece that I wanted to jump to. Before that, did you have any notes that you wanted to hit on?
I don't know. What's the other piece that you wanted to jump to?
It was just gonna be like how, like the community aspect of it all, like drives the growth, and like to level up things to where having a nutritionist be available,
Yeah.
but it still be driven to the point where it's like the nutritionist is there because they are also a part of the community, and I mean Meredith is who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
That would be a little bit of a discussion point, but I wanted you to.
Yeah, I guess maybe the last point on that is just like kind of going back to like making sure that people are showing up on Saturdays because that's where you learn the most about competing, if that makes sense. And again, everybody that showed up consistently or shows up consistently on Saturdays had the best competitions. So I think just reiterating that point is like it is super important to train with people in person and train in a large group setting a lot of the time because it does prepare you very well for the competition floor. And we do that once a week, and I think today was a perfect example of how that transfers over last weekend into actual competition. So yeah, it's a rough one today.
It's amazing to be a part of an organization that like is. I don't know, the word of mouth is community driven, not like your guys' face is everywhere all the damn time.
Yeah, I mean, I never wanted that to be the business model because there's a lot of, I mean, the fitness industry in general is driven off of like narcissism and like egotistical shit, yada yada yada.
Look at me.
Yeah, and like
me. My dad's still at the grocery store.
Yeah, like I wanted it to be more of, I wanted this company to be more focused on the athletes, but two like driven off of like genuine coaching. Like, if you look at, again, I go back to professional sports all the time, even though this isn't technically a professional sport, but like if you look at professional sports, coaches are always in the background of things. They're not the face of something. Like, I think the closest you can get is like a head coach to a football team, like Saban's, doing interviews and shit like that. But he's always talking about his players and talking about his athletes.
Yes and no.
Pumping
You're gonna
those
have,
up.
like, to your point, it is community driven. However, there all sports, like you talk about a soccer team, like you see you see their best player, but they also immediately go to the coach. Football, you see the coach, Nick Saban. Every NFL team, it's coach and quarterback, right? Like that's kind of how it rolls.
That's like storytelling, though, right?
Yeah, it's storytelling.
Yeah.
But those great coaches are the ones that are making sure that they're talking well and bringing all of those athletes.
You still have to, like, yes, you still have to have your face in the limelight, but like, Phil Jackson always, like, it's redirecting where the focus is. Like, you're always making sure that you're putting the focus in on the athlete and what their accomplishments are. Like, Phil Jackson was great at that. He's also great at managing personalities. Like, did he have to get up and talk to the media? For sure. Did he have to be a face? For sure.
Dude,
but
yeah, that's a good reference to Phil Jackson. There's that The Last Dance documentary.
Oh, yeah.
On Netflix. Dude, I didn't know that much about Phil Jackson until I watched that.
He's
awesome.
He's probably, like, he's up there. Like, to be able to coach Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, who similar in their own ways but very different people, and be able to have success with them is pretty wild.
With the personality management of Meta World Peace and Dennis Rodman.
Well, like before Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan went through like 3 or 4 head coaches.
Yeah, that's wild.
And I think Kobe might have had 1 or 2 before Phil as well. It was like 1 or 2 years of like turnaround. So it's
yeah, it's true.
He did some pretty remarkable things from a coaching perspective.
I don't know. Did we talk about it on the podcast 2 weeks ago with the Heat mentality? Was that on that?
Yeah,
okay, all right. I encourage people
Eric
to go.
Spoelstra.
Yes, I encourage people to go listen to that episode because that would likely paint a very clear picture of what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Yep.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So revisiting like the nutrition side of stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see, how does a company like Blacklisted, that's community driven, athlete driven, Santa Claus in the background driven, evolves to the point where, look, to me,
Are you saying everyone's the reindeer?
maybe
Flying reindeer. All right.
who's got the red nose? 16 to 20 people go into a competition in a different state. To a different state's local competition, to where some are traveling halfway across the country. That's a really damn impressive to me. That's a high number of high volume of people.
Well, high volume of people relative to the size of our company, for sure.
Okay, yeah. So that to me is like, all right, I'm going to use some local examples, then I'm going to circle it all back. Swim Atlanta and Dynamo are 2 powerhouse swim teams in Georgia. And they always send people to like nationals, worlds every now and again, Olympic trials, and maybe a couple of the, like they had 1 or 2 qualified for the Olympics this past Olympiad. They have 1,000 kids. The swim team that I used to be a part of, and the one that I'm a part of now, we had maybe 100. All 15 of our 20 kids currently are approaching national level.
15 of the
20 fast kids.
Okay.
So 15 of the 100 overall.
Yeah.
And on the other team I used to coach with Lim, it was 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, that percentage is beyond more impressive. Right? And I'm not trying to shit talk other swim organizations. I'm just using that as a direct example in my world of work. That to me is like kind of us at the moment.
The smaller organization.
But sending more to the higher level. Yay, nay, thoughts?
I think so, yeah.
Does that advocate faster growth to get to the point where we could have like a Meredith on just to be there in affiliation with us to make sure people are eating? Drive their shit.
I think it will facilitate growth, I think, but it's again, the fitness industry is more like marketing and sales than it is, at success. At some point in time, there was a switch. you do need both to grow. Like Mayhem honestly does a great job of doing both of those things. Like they win and they market they're winning, you know. But you know, I think we do a good job with the athletes that we have, and at some point in time, like hopefully we get to the point where we're big enough to have, you know, 1,000 people inside of the organization. But
with 150 to 200 people
and,
going to
yeah,
RX
and like it'll
competition.
be our job to figure out how to
Split it up.
have quality control with that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Like-
it'd be like having
this
like,
was our first all coaches at a competition.
Yeah.
Outside of you being there, right? Like
was Pat there at Fitness of the Coast? Pat was there at Fitness of the Coast.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't.
but Griffin wasn't.
Right, so we had 3 at Fitness of the Coast, 3
Yeah.
at Beach Brawl.
Yeah.
Well, when I say okay, I see your point there because like
But-
we're talking about like, those who coach
Yeah.
directly.
Yeah, and Pat competed though too, so it was really
Yeah.
like Kyle and I.
2.5.
Yeah, so 2.5. But I think every time is an opportunity that we're going to get better, essentially for quality control and how to organize things.
Yeah. Right.
To run extremely smoothly. I think it. I mean, it did. Like, but there's always room for improvement.
Of course.
And especially as we grow and have more people, or not even just more people, we have even more competitive athletes that are like, they are really trying to win and not they're at this point, not necessarily you have to expect to win, but like you are at that level, you can expect to have an opportunity to win versus I'm just going to improve upon myself. That's where it gets a little bit more, it needs to be more structured and be a little bit smoother to make sure everyone's taken care of really well.
Gotcha.
So it's just that's why I said like our next big step will be Fitness of the Coast. I'm flying out to Arizona for the Desert City Classic to go coach a
that's
few
right,
athletes.
that's right.
But I think like it's just they're good opportunities to keep growing on like how can we run this well from the coaching side and making sure that we're taking care of all of our athletes and everyone's getting enough attention, not just one person. Which I don't think anybody. Nobody.
From the
had-
sounds of it, didn't sound like
no, everyone
one
got
person.
attention. We saw every single event.
Yeah.
The social media reflected that too. Like looking through the stories and shit. Like I saw everyone.
The only person we missed was John from the blog. I didn't time his heat times up, but I talked to him a couple times throughout the weekend.
Yeah, I saw John on there.
No. This
No,
is
not John Chen.
This is John from the competitors program.
Oh,
Not-
so I'm an asshole.
Off the
Got
method.
it.
Not
Sorry, John.
Not our John.
So
I will say it was harder though because he wasn't inside like our like tents and
Yeah, and I basically had. It was basically like Griffin split off and basically took the guys basically, and I took the girls. So I didn't know. No, I didn't know when exactly he was going. So,
high five, man.
so I was like, I would warm up because most of my athletes are female. So I would warm up pretty much the females and then go out to the competition floor to watch them go. So I wasn't really sure when he was going. I don't know if you saw him back there at all or not, but
I never like saw him in the warm up.
yeah. So it was. I think it was just like.
But like, again, there's an opportunity to like
Yeah,
to do a
improve
better
on that.
job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because all the people we have are individual clients, and anyone that was directly involved in our
We had 2 people there that were on the competitors blog. One of them was Hannah, who was doing team with Amanda. So it was like they were like
Gotcha.
connected. So as the competitors program grows, like we'll have to figure out systems to make sure that we have coaches available for those athletes and they're getting coaching so that they're competing at a high level still.
Well, it seemed to me. This is going to shift gears, but not really. We can always grow and develop and whatnot from as coaches to fix what was missed per se, but clearly it was like an overall success from a blacklisted community standpoint, and from a individual standpoint with you two and Pat, because from maybe I misinterpreted, but from our group chat, you guys were getting hit up by a handful of people for individual design.
Yeah, I mean
Or at least information about.
Yeah,
Black.
that's another big point. Is like one thing we need to do better is being more available to talk to those outside our community to allow them to understand they are welcome into our community.
Gotcha.
I don't think at any point we were putting off that we aren't like people aren't allowed in.
Yeah.
But I think we can do a better job about making sure it's known that we want them to come in.
Basically, we're really autistic.
Yeah.
You just need Santa Claus there.
Honestly.
Maybe. I don't.
Maybe.
You might scare them away.
Cut that fucking beard off. And you can
It'll be
come.
cut off by the next time. I'm probably going to get rid of this after Vegas.
All
I
right.
might have my mommy bleach the top of my head.
Okay.
Might as well
That's
go
what I
all
used to
one.
do. Last time I did this, I went full not so slim shady.
Yeah, I
remember.
remember.
Yeah. So
Unfortunately.
that's all I had from the standpoint of Beach Brawl and the reflection and the growth aspect of it all. It was really impressive to me. I think this was a great conversation about it, and I think that it's going to set up Fittest to the Coast extremely well.
Yeah.
And also the next camp, which is have we solidified that yet?
Potentially, we're gonna do one over New Year's. We
Yeah.
haven't solidified it for teens.
yeah.
Teens, that's right.
So
Teens.
we're working on that right now.
Any teens or all teens or what?
More information to come.
Working on it.
All right,
Pay
cool.
attention
working on
to
it.
our social media.
But I think that anybody that's also out there that either saw what happened with Pensacola Beach Brawl or has been contemplating trying to be like, well, I want to have that. This is the time we're
Yep.
going to Fittest to the Coast. If you're like still unsure, do the competition, come hang out with us and find us out
Yeah.
like what we're about, because that's like this is what we're trying to continue
Yeah.
to build. And like, look, you want to be a part of
And-
something? Here it is.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's tough for people to really understand is just honestly how good we are at our jobs. We brought Liana up. She's been working with me for 4 months now, I think, since May. Finishes fifth place in RX competition, and we've improved her a ton, right? So in
That's
4 months,
insane.
Sydney,
That's
who's
insane.
been working with me for
Couple years.
3 months now, 3 months, Sydney
Really?
finishes in 4th place at this
I thought
competition.
Sydney
She was on the competitors.
She was on the
program.
competitors
shit.
program, but this is why
Holy fuck.
this is why it's important to get a coach, is because group programs are good. They can help you, and they can help kind of put a bunch of stuff in buckets for you, right?
Uh-huh.
But coaching makes a huge difference in regards to how quickly you're going to
Yeah.
improve and raising you to your ceiling.
It actually makes a fuckload of sense now because I thought she had been with you the whole time, and I'm not saying this to take away any of her hard work because she was following the method or the competitors program, excuse me. But I was really taken aback when she PR'd that the snatch 200 at camp,
195
at
Yeah.
camp.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, and she's moving better. She's a lot less chaotic.
Yeah.
With her handstand dismounts and whenever she starts getting really fatigued.
Yeah.
Now that makes more sense.
Yeah. So
That is a
so
pivotal thing.
it's
Holy
I
shit.
think it's tough to tell those stories, so maybe this will get told on the podcast here, because you don't get the big picture with a lot of athletes. You just kind of get the snapshot of their performances at the competition. And what I do want to highlight is she works fucking hard as shit.
I think
that
that's
was
her lifting in there now.
no, she's got a rest day today. So
Then never mind.
but so some of the things that we didn't get into were the individual stories from some of the athletes this weekend, and Amanda had this weird ab thing going on before the first 2 workouts, and I was in there pressing on it. She thought we didn't have any idea how she was going to do this weekend, but we just went in with no expectations for her. Bree's coming back from an injury. The Seegert, the last time she put a bar overhead, which she got 185 pounds on this lifting complex, she literally couldn't put a bar overhead for 2 months after that. And we didn't have her
Holy
lift too
fuck.
heavy prior to that, but she went to the competition, lifted 185, allowed her to podium or win that competition. Sydney, going into the last workout, was fucking pissed because she was in 4th place, having finished 2nd place in 2 workouts and winning another one. So, sorry, having 2 second place finishes. She was in 4th place. She's like, how the fuck does that work? Super pissed about it. And I basically got in her face and was like, look, nobody works as fucking hard as you. They don't have a master's degree. They're not up at 4 a.m. in the fucking morning coaching a class and doing your aerobic work and then coming back in at night. If you want this shit, go out there and fucking earn it. And
Dude,
she put in the best effort that I've ever seen her put into a workout.
And she has a phenomenal support system at home too.
Yeah,
Chris.
yeah.
Dude,
So I
she's
think,
fucking great.
we're unfortunately we're running out of time here,
Yep.
so we can't get into all the individual stories. But
Yeah.
there's, that's I think some of what makes the live competition so much fun is the day-to-day is kind of a grind with coaching, and you kind of have to like remind the athletes and like all these like little things about like being consistent, like just, hey, make sure you're trying to put effort in every single day, giving your best. But like when you're at the competition, like that's when it's like you get to play the game at the competition, and that's the fun part, is the playing the game, coaching the athlete to play the game to the best of their ability. And like you really saw that from a lot of our people this weekend. So
Hell
we
yeah.
have a lot more new faces at Fittest to the Coast.
Yeah, I think I'm going to recognize that and apologize for not us being able to get into individual stories. But
whatever.
It could be that's a good teaser for after Fittest to the Coast.
Yeah, for sure.
Because with how Fittest to the Coast is operated, similar but different than Beach Brawl, and a lot. I feel we're going to have a bigger crowd at Fittest to the Coast. There's going to be a lot more opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. So.
But that's all I got today, unless you guys have anything to add to it.
I mean, we're over an hour and we lose traction at an hour, so we should probably wrap it up.
All right. You good?
Peace out, fam.
Peace.
Talk to you guys next time.